Fellow Biafrans, freedom lovers, it's a pleasure to come your way again. Yeah, it's good to know that you are well and healthy. Good to know that we're all participating in this current, momentum created by the viral protest that has gone around the whole of Nigeria. Even I was happy to hear they call it that even in diaspora, in England, in Americas, in Canada, in Asia and Latin America, even in other African countries, a lot of people, fellow Biafrans and freedom lovers, people who see the merit and Nnamdi Kanu'S case, have all continued to assemble and, protest his continuous detention by the Nigerian government. Yes, everybody is aware that his continued detention is totally, against every considerable human. Of course, it's against normal human ethics. To continue to keep him. Yes, you don't have any right to keep a man who has not been found guilty of any crime. That is why the whole world is interested in watching what Nigeria does at this stage. I'm happy to know that even opposition parties, people who ordinarily used to oppose the Biafrans, used to oppose the Southeast people like Omoyele, Sowore, people like Atiku Abubakar, who, they usually should have been nonchalant about Nnamdi Kanu'S continued detention, have come out to vigorously campaign against it because, of course, they have seen the light. Of course, Sowore told the whole world in a press conference that what is happening to Nnamdi Kanu is the highest level of government decadence, wickedness, and insensitivity to the plight of a people. They wondered why a man who engages in peaceful protest should be subjected to such wicked infamy. Why would a government who claimed to be a democratically elected government, a government who has a leader in the person of the Jagapa, who said it is my turn, and they made it his turn by whatever means he did it, all means possible. Why would this same man who claimed to be a veteran in democratic practices, who claimed, that he actually was among those who foisted the Radio Kudurat during the Abacha infamous regime. This man who said he's a Democrat, why would he be, all of a sudden, completely against, acting like a Democrat? Of course, they said when they looked at the kind of names, the pardons being generated, people who were given pardons during this last October 1st parade, celebration of Nigeria. I mean, people who were given pardons, they saw a lot of individuals whose names had no reason to be there. These were felons, people convicted of heinous crimes, apart from corruption, bribery scandals, equally those who had engaged in brutally terrorizing Nigerians. Now, these are the people, who have received, government pardons. These are people who the government have said, we will no longer have any case to answer. You are free as a free Nigerian. You're free as a bird to do as you like. Of course, a whole lot of people came out to say, if you were pardoning this kind of people, even those who had died long ago, people like Chief Ken Saro-Wiwa of the Ogoni 9, people who even had died, people like Herbert Macaulay, if you can remember them now, if you can grant them amnesty, what is keeping you from, freeing, releasing, and allowing Nnamdi Kanu to go free? What is still keeping him in the DSS dungeon? Why is he still there? Why is it that this man who spoke peacefully, who demanded justice for his people, who was not afraid to call a spade, this man who said, my people have suffered enough, and enough is enough. This man who decried the marginalization of his people, that his people were being subjugated, they were being treated like a defeated people. This man who said enough is enough after the pogrom of 1966, 67, 68, 69, 70, and you came out in this same Nigeria, came out under the leadership of General Yakubu Gowon. He said, no victor, no vanquished. No victor, no vanquish. That's what you said. The Biafrans are free to integrate, to interact, and to once again belong to Nigeria. But what do we see? Immediately after that declaration of no victor, no vanquish, immediately after the 3 hours was pronounced as a mantra, the reconstruction, the reintegration, and the rehabilitation of Biafrans after the Civil War. The first thing that was done to Biafrans was to be gifted a miserable 20 pounds. Miserable 20 pounds for all their efforts, miserable 20 pounds for the debts they suffered, miserable 20 pounds for the long toll of the war on them. No matter how much they have in the bank, no matter what buildings they had, no matter what businesses they had, they lost everything and they were gifted with a miserable 20 pounds. That alone was a sentence to perpetual poverty. That alone melt like their coffins have been nailed. That was the final nail in their coffin. That's the way it looked. Ladies and gentlemen, even though their money was taken away from them, even though they were immediately impoverished by the government and people of Nigeria because of the Biafran war, because of ever attempted to face Nigeria, they were impoverished by a government referendum where they were gifted with 20 pounds. That wasn't enough. All the properties they left in areas where they domiciled before, in areas where they did businesses before, in areas where, they had their affiliations before, all those properties were taken from them under the abandoned property legislation all over Nigeria. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the government became very angry that Nnamdi Kanu had the guts, had the effrontery to tell them this, looking at them in the face. Beginning from PMB, late PMB, President Mohamed Buhari, came out ferociously, attacked Nnamdi from every corner, and promised him hell in heaven. Yes, and that was where his problem started. Yes, the late PMB was highly confirmed to have sworn that over his dead body will Nnamdi Kanu see the living daylight again. And that was why the government orchestrated, his kidnap from Kenya. I mean, this is a Nigerian citizen who shares a dual citizenship with England. Yes, they went to Kenya and kidnapped him under what they call a special rendition arraignment. I'm happy to note here today that the Kenyan authority are already suffering because of their, involvement. Yeah, because of their connivance in that kidnap. Because a Kenyan court has subjected Kenyan authorities billions of shillings for their involvement in aiding and abetting Nigeria to kidnap Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya and renditioning him down to Nigeria. Yes, under very human conditions. This was what Mazen Nnamdi Kanu said. Cried against the injustices that were done to his people. He cried against, his people being subjugated. He cried against the manipulation of his people. He cried against his people being treated like a defeated people, back to back since Nigeria independence. And so the whole world is listening. Omoyele Sowore has taken it upon himself. He's a Yoruba man. But he said, no, this is glaring injustice. This is wickedness of the highest order. I will not be party to this. I can't say I'm a Democrat. I can't say I'm fighting to be a presidential candidate of Nigeria. I can't say I want to rule this country when I see a glaring injustice right unfolding before my eyes. Why is the government of Nigeria holding Nnamdi Kanu? What has he done? What has he said that has not been said before? What has he done that has not been done before? Did he kill anybody? Did he shoot anybody? Did they catch him with gun-making devices? Did they see him with bomb-making devices? Why are they holding him? Why back-to-back trial and mistrials of this one person? What has this man done to them? What has the Southeast done to Nigeria? Were they not legitimate part of this country? Were they not part of the trio that formed this country from amalgamation in 1914? 1914. So why are they why is it being treated this way? Why has the IPOB people, IPOB been declared as a terrorist organization? What has IPOB done? Who have they terrorized? Meanwhile, the Boko Haram group, the Meta Island, the Fulani jihadists, all of them are free to roam around and they commit mayhem, they commit atrocities, they gang rape, they destroy farmlands, they take people's crops by force, they kidnap, they organ harvest everywhere, they collect ransoms. The government does nothing. When they are arrested, of course, they are rehabilitated, they are integrated, and they are paid, they are given stipends to abandon the terrorist activities. Why are there two different rules? One for Nigeria, one for the Fulani jihadists, one for the Boko Haram person, and entirely a different ball game for the Biafran people. Why isn't Nnamdi Kanu suffering untold hardship? Because he dared to say the truth. Yes, the Igbos have been marginalized. Yes, the Igbos have been treated as defeated people. Yes, the Igbos have no place. They are not treated fairly in this place called Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria is now at war. Yes, take it or leave it. Protest is ever increasing and it has threatened and it looks like it's going to shut down governance in Nigeria. Because already on the 20th, they are taking the protest down to their villa. Yes, they're taking it right. The president's office, senator's office, they are taking it right into the government stronghold. They want them to know that enough is enough. Things cannot continue like this. Things can never continue like this. For crying out loud, we're in the 2025th, of the year, 2025th. This is not 1900. This is not 1900. No, we're in 2025. For crying out loud, these things must change and be seen to have changed. Ladies and gentlemen, the whole world has come out and everybody's pained. Recently, I saw a write-up coming from Canada, where they warn Nigerian authorities to be very careful, that the escalating violence in Nigeria, the insecurity, and the rape of justice. I mean, every court now, every judge appears to be, at the beck and call of the highest bidder. They say this rot in the Nigeria judiciary system must be checked, otherwise Nigeria stands a very big chance of being totally sanctioned all over the world. Yes. Equally well-meaning lawyers, human rights activists have come out to say, listen, Justice James Omotosho, you have postponed Nnamdi Kanu'S case to 16th of October. You have fixed it for 16th of October. Let me tell you now, James Kolawole Omotosho, Justice James Kolawole Omotosho, whatever you do on that day, make sure that is the end of Nnamdi Kanu'S trial. Make sure that's the end of that trial, because it's a mistrial. It's a mistrial. There's nothing to try. This is a man who is sick. His organs are quickly deteriorating. He has brought evidence. He has brought tests. He has brought medical reports. And a lot of politics is being played when these things are presented to the Nigerian government through the courts. A lot of politics is being played. The last one was that Nigerian Medical Association failed to bring their medical report. Of course, suddenly the so-called medical report sort of dissolved into air. It disappeared into air. Of course, because that medical report was not there, the case was postponed. These are all attempts by the government to continue to buy time, continue, to play rigmarole. They continue to make this case linger more than necessary, to frustrate Nnamdi Kanu further, to destroy his family, and to destroy his results, to make his health situation become desperate. Human rights activists, lawyers, yes, people have come out to say, listen, what will government gain if this man dies in trial? What are you keeping him there for? Who is afraid of Nnamdi Kanu? We see politicians in the southeast running agog. Here and there, talking all kinds of border dash, claiming they have special information about Nnamdi Kanu. He'll be released soon. If Professor Soludo is not addressing us, telling us how he had a conversation with the Jagaban just a few hours ago, and he has assured him Nnamdi Kanu will be released soon. If it is not Professor Charles Soludo, it is the Minister for Works, David Umahi, telling us the conditions under which Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be released. And then we hear every now and then people like Senator Audio Carlo come out and say, look, Nnamdi Kanu will come out, but on these conditions. Why are governments in the Southeast, why are they toying with the life of a great innocent personality like Nnamdi Kanu? Who is afraid of Nnamdi Kanu? So Justice James Omotosho has been told, this could be your last chance. Justice James Kolawole Omotosho, this could be your last chance indeed to save Nigeria. Yeah, because Nnamdi Kanu's next trial on the 16th October should be the last, or else there will be major consequences. Major consequences for the Nigerian judiciary, for the Nigerian generality of Nigerians, and for the Nigerian international reputation. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, freedom lovers, the truth is Nigeria has really outdone its wickedness this time. Nigeria has shown itself in its wickedness, because no other country in the world could have done such a thing, could ever do such a thing, to peaceful protesters, in their country. I mean, what has Nnamdi Kanu done to them? Because he does speak the truth, because he was fearless to tell the powers that be, look them right in the eyes and say, let my people be. Let them develop on their own. Let them grow as other people are growing. Let them achieve what they want to achieve. Free them. Stop creating a compromises for them. Stop treating them like inferior people. Stop treating them like defeated people. Let them live. Live and let live. If you don't want my people to live, to develop, to grow, and to mature, if you don't want my people to achieve, then what you're asking them to do is to live. If you don't want them to cohabit in Nigeria, which they were fought part and parcel of the strongholds, the tripod that formed this country, right from the time of Lord Logan, 1914. I mean, if you don't want them to be any part of Nigeria anymore and to enjoy the dividends of being in Nigeria, then let them go. Nnamdi Kanu told them openly. He likened it to a man who doesn't want his wife anymore, who now hates his wife. And he told them, if you don't want a wife, if you now hate a wife, let her go. Perhaps she'll go out and get a better suitor, far better than you. Perhaps she'll go out and have a rethink when she thinks about the good life she has missed being with you. But of course, let her go, so that whatever option she takes will be a free and fair, option. That's why the authorities hate Nnamdi Kanu. That's why they kidnapped him from Kenya. That's why they subjected him over back to back for 5 years now, close to 5 years in the DSS dungeon. That's why they are playing with his health status. A man who is sick, who has developed liver issues, who has pancreatic deformities, a man who has lumps on his armpits, a man who generally cannot sleep. Back to back, he sleep. In fact, he's now almost always awake, and it has completely deteriorated his health. It has led to depression. It has led to all manners of medical and psychological disturbances on his health. And the government is still playing lip service. The Jagaba, who claims to be the titan of democracy, a man who claims to be a Democrat, a man who posthumously is granting amnesty to people who have committed the highest level of the wickedness in this land, including corruptions, including brigandage, including terrorizing the life of Nigerians in the past, including all forms of, negative activities. He has granted them amnesty, and he failed to mention the name on all lists, the name that has dominated the social media, the physical media, and the news media of everything Nigeria. What does the Jagaban expect to gain if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu dies in detention? Who is interested in the ultimate death of Nnamdi Kanu? Who wants him dead That is a very big question. That is a very big question. That is $1 million question. And only Justice James Omotosho, Justice James Kolawole Omotosho, you may be the final, only hope now for Nigeria to still write its name in gold. Justice James Omotosho. Nnamdi Kanu will be at your Abuja High Court tomorrow. You postpone the case. You want to resume. We are telling you here now, for the interest of peace, for the interest of Adaino, to avoid stories that touch the heart. Justice James Kolawole Omotosho, this is your chance. Stop dancing to the gallery. Stop dancing to the Jagaba. This is your chance. I think enough is enough for the wise. You yourself said it. This man has suffered a lot. You yourself said it. His family has suffered a lot. You yourself said it. The man has deteriorated in his health. You yourself said it, that you have been held too long unnecessarily. You yourself said it, Justice James Omotosho, that this case has dragged and dragged and dragged, and it's about time it stopped. And you yourself submitted, sir, with all due respect. You told us you don't want to leave this world soiling your hands. You want to wipe your hands clean. You want to keep your hands clean. You want to keep your records clean, so that when you are gone, posterity will be fair to you. This could be your chance, and only chance. Justice James Kolawole Omotosho. I don't know who is beating the band for you. I don't know who is blowing the flute for you, but your dance steps must show a realization that, look, the continue detention, trial and mistrial of Nnamdi Kanu would cost Nigeria more harm, much more harm than good. Tell them the truth, no matter whose ox is God. Tell them the truth, that the international community is aflame at the enormous human rights abuses. The human rights abuses in Nigeria have risen to the highest ever point in this country. Equally, the judiciary, which should be, on its own, independent and sacrosanct from the judiciary, has suddenly, completely meandered, integrated, interwoven, and is now on the same, very, very on the same room, if you like, with the executive. That is not how it was intended to be. Justice James Kolawole Omotosho, this is your chance. Use this opportunity of Nnamdi Kanu'S trial tomorrow, 16th October 2025, at your High Court. Let it be a momentous opportunity to right the wrong. Yes. Advise Emilio Khan. Advise the powers that be. The whole world is watching Nigerian judiciary. The whole world is watching you. The whole world is watching to see the decisions that will be taken tomorrow. If Nnamdi Kanu'S trial does not end tomorrow, if he does not get his freedom tomorrow, there will be very, 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 very major consequences. And you know the best part? The best part is that these consequences are could have been easily avoidable. Justice James Kolawole Omotosho, the ball is on your court. Let tomorrow's trial of Nnamdi Kanu be a clarion call for Nigeria and Nigerian leaders to do the needful. Because the whole world is watching Nigeria. And we are praying that for the first time in many, many years, Nigeria should write its name in gold. Nigeria should right the wrongs it has committed back to back now since this man was kidnapped from Kenya. Nigeria has still a very big chance indeed, to take a new lead, to borrow a new lead, and do the needful. Justice James Kolawole Omotosho, this is your chance. Don't blow it. Thank you, and God bless.